Are you, service-based entrepreneur? How's your week going? This is Ann McDonald, and I want to welcome you to another free training. Today, I am super enthusiastic about what we're going to talk about because this is the single key that unlocked it for me. Okay, so I just want you to say, I'm ready. Okay, if you are ready to actually learn how to unlock what you carry and put it into a signature online course, an information product that can be transacted one to many, today is the day you don't want to miss. We're going to try to keep this one short, but full of impact. So make sure you are chatting. Make sure you're chatting because that actually helps you retain the information. So if you've watched the last training, just let me know, one in the chat. If you watched part one of this training, one in the chat, two if no. In part one, we talked about you as a service-based entrepreneur, learning how to account for your actual ability, the thing that you actually carry, the thing that you take and do every day, all day, every day with your one-on-one clients. Today, we're going to talk about the second key. The second key is super simple, but sometimes it can feel very risky to implement. So follow along and write "train from truth" in the chat. Today, we're going to talk about training from truth. I'm going to unpack it in just a minute, but I want to make sure that you're actually following along. Why? Because when you, as a service-based entrepreneur, whether you're a designer, an artist, an athletic coach, a nurse, a physical therapist, a decorator, a home stager, whatever your actual skill set is, unless you actually train in the online space from a place of truth, you won't actually carry the resonating authority that your clients need, especially as it's coming through the camera or an audio lesson. So let me know in the chat. Just let me know where you're from. I know we've got like Tanya on, we've got Sumi on, we've got Patty on, we've got Patrick and Bruce. We've got a bunch of people on live with us today, which is really nice. But the training we're going to do today is evergreen. Okay, so we've got people from Atlanta, we've got people from Lake Tahoe, which is where I'm from. I know we've got people from Dallas, Texas. We've got Nashville represented. I think we even have New York City represented. So, which is super cool. So, all right, what does it mean, Ann, to train from a place of truth? I'm going to tell you a quick story about where I was before I trained from truth. And I want you to see if you can locate yourself in this situation. So 2010, 2011, 2012, I'm like, I know I'm called into the online space. I know that I actually have to figure out a way to scale my skill set so I'm not working 14-hour days. Anybody else? Anybody else tired of working 14-hour days, 12-hour days, working one-on-one with clients? And I was like, awesome, no problem. I know what to do. I'll take something about design and I'll turn it into an information product. It'll be awesome. So what happened? I wasn't training from my actual skill set. I was training something that was actually external to myself. I was trying to take information, just how to decorate this, how to design this, how to whatever, insert anything that you can think of here for your industry, right? How to decorate an Airbnb, how to make high-end jewelry, how to design for empty nesters and sandwich generation moms, how to run a physical therapy clinic. But I was trying to do that without sharing my actual fruit, okay? Does that make sense? Sometimes it can be really vulnerable to share your results because sometimes we don't feel like our results are big enough or grand enough or important enough for somebody on the other side of that camera to care. Okay, so especially as a service-based entrepreneur. So as a designer, I'm like, what do I really have that I've done? Well, I've decorated rooms. I've designed homes. I've got this thing that I do with my team, and it actually has borne a lot of fruit with my team. We had a problem. We came up with a solution, and then we trained on that, but nobody's going to care about that. Have you ever been in that place where you're like, nobody is actually going to care about what I carry? Have you ever thought that? Just let me know. Let me know one in the chat. This is super important because what I've seen over the past 9 years, since 2013, since I've broken through, is a lot of people have great ideas, but because they won't train from their truth, they won't train from a place where they have actual breakthrough, where they have actual fruit, nothing happens, nothing transacts in the online space. There's a quote that says, people don't care what you know, they only care what it's going to do for them. They only care about the results that you're going to be able to get for them. Okay, so just write results in the chat. Results, also known as fruit in your own life, is what we need to train on. Okay, so I'm going to share with you what this looked like for me. So I am trying to figure out anything that I can sell in the online space that's tied to my skill set, that's tied to interior design. I'm like, I'll try this, I'll try that. I'll try training on the color wheel. I'll try training on this. And none of it landed until I sat down and I got really honest with myself. And I was like, all right, what do we as a design firm have fruit in? I want you to answer this question for yourself. I know we've got designers on, we have artists and jewelry makers and business people. We have people in the tech industries. We have people in the physical therapy space. I want you to think about an area that you consistently have breakthrough in. For me, we had a problem with a team. We had all these employees. We had a team that was really skill setted. They were trained. They knew all the codes, but they didn't know how to make a design space beautiful. They didn't actually know how to decorate. They didn't know how to take all of their education, all of their schooling, all of their licensing, and turn that into beauty on a job site. So what did I do? In my pain, I didn't want to fire these team members because they're great people. I was like, I know, we'll create a training for them. So I actually created a training in-house for my design team. And I sat them down. I was like, we're going to spend 8 weeks and we're going to go over this. And you're going to learn how to decorate like a pro. You're going to learn how to make things look beautiful. And they're like, awesome. Okay. I don't know why, but okay. Here's what happened. When I just embraced what I already had fruit in, and I trained my team in that, and we saw results, that's what broke through for us when we took it into the online space to share with other designers. So I want you to think for a minute. What is it that you have fruit in right now in your business? Drop it in the chat. Even if it feels silly, even if it's like a team training, even if it's like, hey, I can increase an investor's cap rate. Hey, I actually know how to make jewelry. I actually know how to pull somebody's purpose out of them. What is it that people come to you that you already have fruit in that maybe you think, Ann, this isn't that big of a deal? But here's the thing. What you carry, when we can get at the truth of that, and it's a fruit-bearing skill set, now we have something that separates you from everybody else on the internet. It separates you from everybody else in your industry. Thank you. So we have one person on. It's actually Patrick. And Patrick has this gift of establishing high-level connections with C-suite people, like, CEOs, CFOs, like C-suite. He has a knack for it. So one of the things that we did for him was we took his skill set where he had actual fruit and put it into a system that then can be transacted in the online space. Lo and behold, do you want to know how much that system kicks off roughly per client every month? Who would like to know? Let me know in the chat. That kicks off a minimum of $30,000 a month per client. Not a bad start. Okay. Not a bad start. Okay. So Sumi says she consistently brings people through discovering the gold in themselves. She has a heart healing gift. Awesome. So something like that, Sumi, what we want to do when we train from truth is we want to actually just narrow our focus. And we want to say, this is what we're going to focus on, and we're going to quantify the results. Okay. There are 3 things that I've talked about before in some of these free trainings that your information must do. Please write these down. Your information must transform someone. Okay. It can't just be information. It must be transformational. That's that fruit bearing piece that we're talking about today. That's that training from truth piece. The second thing your information product must do when you train from a place of truth is it must be achievable for your end user. Okay. If it isn't achievable, it's going to cause frustration and overwhelm. Okay. But if you are training from your actual truth, the fruit and the breakthrough that you carry in your life, having something that's achievable is not a problem, because there's this thing called the testimony. How many of you guys have ever seen testimonies, whether it's through business or through faith connections, or you've seen a testimony of something? Well, testimonies, just kind of energetically, if you will, mean that if it's happened before, it can happen again. And when you choose to embrace the truth of what you carry and don't apologize for it, okay? How many of you guys have ever felt like you had to apologize for what you carry? Anybody dealt with that? So I dealt with that a lot, because I'm like, nobody cares about design. Like, I had people in my life, like people close to me back in the day, who were like, it just doesn't matter. Like, who cares about pretty spaces? Okay. It is like, nobody really cares. And I had to fight through that. So especially talking with my artists and my salesmen and my like people who are in the creative arts, sometimes we can feel like what we carry doesn't matter. But I'm here to tell you that you are at the intersection of where the rubber meets the road. Okay. You're the one who is speaking to the soul and the lifeblood of the person on the other side of that camera. So it's worth your time to deal with this single key to train from truth. All right. The third thing your information must do, it must be transformational. Okay. The second thing it must do in order to train from a position of truth is it must be achievable. All right. We're not going to tell someone to go climb Everest if they've never even been in the snow before. Okay. Now, I know that may sound silly, but you each have a skill set. You have a skill set that you've likely been practicing and doing for many years, if not decades. And so sometimes we forget how skilled we actually are. And so when we go to make an information product, it gets way too complicated. Okay. So think about the simplicity of an achievable piece of your skill set. The third thing it must do when you train from truth is it must be measurable. Okay. So I'm going to give you an example. So we have a client, he's a physical therapist. He has a specialization in hockey. When he joined our program, he was like, Ann, I don't know that I even believe this, but I trust you even though I don't understand it. He came into our program, followed our step-by-step system, and cleared $25,000 with his program in less than a day. It was actually inside of like 15 minutes from an interaction that came from a phone call. Why? Because he was training from a place of truth. I'm like, Dustin, what do you know inside and out? He's like, I know hockey. I've written a book called The Champions Triangle. I know what has to happen. And I'm like, that's what we need to focus on. Everything else that you've been spending time on has to go away. When you train from truth, well, first, who would like to clear $25,000 in like that amount of time with your skill set? Right, Kevin? Here's the thing. This right here, just put your hand on your head. Okay. This is the stopgap. Okay. This is the thing that we need to get changed. And the simple mindset shift of just like, I'm just going to train on what I know. Okay. Now, Dustin is super skilled. He's a physical therapist with a clinic. He's written a book. He could train on how to write a book. He can train on how to have a physical therapy clinic. He could train on golf. He could train on a bunch of things, but he didn't choose to do that. He chose to go deep into the area where he has fruit. And that's what I want to get through to you today on this training. In order to do that, we have to peel back and actually look at the fruit of our current business. Okay. So here's my question for you. What are you currently doing in your business, your entrepreneurial journey, or your personal life that you have concrete fruit in? Don't judge the fruit just yet. Just write in the chat, what do you have fruit in? Okay. We've got Kevin on. He can help people figure out and how to navigate the college scholarship place for golf. We have Patty on. She has fruit in like resizing their, your life and your design for empty nesters and sandwich generation moms. We have Sumi, who's got a jewelry company, right? Who also has heart healing. We have Tanya, who has like skills in songwriting and Airbnb design and all of these different things. But what I'm asking you to do right now to narrow your focus so that we can get you to a place like we got Dustin quickly is to look at your life, look at your businesses, and ask yourself the question, where do I have concrete fruit? Okay. People don't care what you know. They care about the fruit and the results that you can get for them. Okay. So I'm going to wrap up this short training with this. Once I embraced what I felt embarrassed of, I mean, here's the thing. When I did my training in 2013, I was embarrassed the first time I did it. I'm like, nobody's going to care. But you know what? There were other designers, other small designers who had small teams who were in the same position I was in. They had interns, they had employees, they had stock managers, they had all these people. And they were like, Ann, I'm having the same problem. Like, I've got to make these spaces beautiful. I can't be on every job site. I've got to train a team. And literally what you just shared with me changed my business. I had one designer, we had Skype text office hours in that program. And she's like, Ann, I listen to the videos. And then when I go on my runs, I literally listen to the audio because I have to get this in me. That designer now has multiple businesses where she has multiple teams. Why do I share this with you? Because someone is waiting for you to show up. Okay. And if you'll just simply tell the truth and say, this is where I was, this is how I fixed it, and this is where I am now, and you can have the same result, that's all we're doing. Information products for service-based entrepreneurs it's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like manna from heaven, because you know what it's like to work hours for dollars, dollars for hours. I did. Then I was like, oh, I'm going to change it up. I'm going to work project. So then it's like project for hours, hours for project. But this system gives you the opportunity to scale so that you don't have to be available for every single person. And people are literally waiting for you to show up. So we wanted to keep this training short. And for any of you who are watching, we actually have a 4-hour training that we're going to be hosting on Saturday. And we would like to invite you to come to this training. It's a 4-hour masterclass, and we are literally going to be unpacking over 4 concrete hours the entire system that we use to build out information products for service-based entrepreneurs. So if you would like to attend, we have a link for you. I think, Bruce, can we drop that link? Thank you. It's Ann McDonald Official /Masterclass. We want you to attend. We are making this a paid event because we want people who are serious about attending. This is specifically designed. This is not a generic business class. This is not a generic make money online class. This is a specific training masterclass for service-based entrepreneurs, including people in vocational ministries who want to create information products, signature course products that they can sell in the online space. So if that's you, please do not miss this masterclass. I've been at this since 2008. I finally had my scaling breakthrough in 2013. My husband and I were able to retire early by the world standards over 4 years ago in our early to mid 50s. This is not a joke. This literally is the path forward for you, where you can take that unique gift that God put into you and steward it so that more people can access the breakthrough that you carry. I'm going to end on this. I shared this with a friend the other day who she's incredibly skilled and gifted. She has built international ministries. She is, technologically savvy. She's an amazing woman. And I said, Marilyn, you can't let your breakthrough die with you. This is a way, friend, where what you have been able to break through in your own life, you can package it up so that people who will never meet you likely in person will actually get the benefit of the breakthrough that you have paid such a high price for. Okay, so this is an act of stewardship. All right, friends. Thank you for being on with us today. We're going to do more of these short trainings. There's just these short kind of popcorn nuggets where we can just get things to you that will make a difference. To end today, just write, I will tell the truth. I will train from truth. Just write that in the chat, because that's where your authority is. That's where your anointing is. And that's what you carry that will cause other people on the other side of that camera to say, yes, I'm in. I want to engage in your online signature course.